going to read you all this article, and let me go and tell you right now several things is going to happen or are going to happen. First, you might hear sugar in the background. If you do, sorry about that. Cats are just going to meow sometimes. She's out on the deck right now sunbathing. Second off, before I get into this, my disclaimers will soon make the title, not so much the title, but the article disappear, so my disclaimers are going to show. Last but not least, we have the patio open so that sugar can go in and out. Therefore, you may hear a lot of the small, like Cessna planes go by. We have a lot of that here on the Puget Sound when it's this nice, because we don't get weather this nice this often. July and August are your most opportune moments. So I'm going to read this article, and then we're going to discuss it. Majority of people now say it's impossible to achieve American dream no matter how hard you work. I'm going to let that one marinate. Okay, here's the article. A recent study suggests that a majority of U.S. adults believe it is impossible to achieve a comfortable lifestyle. An exclusive poll from Newsweek. 44% of Americans say they think it's getting harder to achieve a middle-class socioeconomic status. Across generations, there were variations in the percentage reaching specific milestones, such as buying a house or achieving a steady and livable income. Millennials, born 1981, yes, that makes me Gen Z. Okay, that's Gen X, my bad. Millennials born 1981 through 1996 saw the highest rate of people who think the middle class is unachievable at 57%, followed by Gen Xers 1965 to 1980. That's me at 59%. Gen Z 1997 to 2012 came at 48%. And baby boomers 1946 to 1964 reached 51%. The survey, which polled 1,500 eligible voters, found 46% identified as middle class, 37% working class, 8% upper class, and 10% were unsure. Among the survey's respondents, 48% felt they had not changed social classes within their lifetime, compared to 40% who believed they did. Out of those who said they changed into a different social group, 46% say they were now middle class and 43% say they had landed themselves in the working class. Users on TikTok have not been quiet about the failed promise of the American dream they were sold growing up. A creator named Nick vented about how his salary, which he said is 3 times the federal minimum wage, is still not a livable income. When my parents were my age, they both made less than half of what I make, and they live alone. I cannot afford to live anywhere alone, he said on TikTok. It's embarrassing to come out and say that. It is a struggle to survive right now. In an interview with Working Hard podcast, former Wall Streeter Vivian, better known as Your Rich BFF on TikTok, said younger generations have a different version of the American dream. We cannot use the same playbook our parents gave us to live life today, she said. We've been told this American dream. You work hard, you study good, you go to college, you get a good job, you climb the corporate ladder. It doesn't work like that anymore. You cannot save your way to rich unless you are making upwards of $500,000 a year. You cannot get there through saving. Another poll from Pew Research just further confirms the death of the American dream, which found that the middle class has been shrinking more and more over the last 50 years. According to the center, the U.S. middle class is defined by household income. It falls within a range of 2/3 to double the national median income, but this can vary depending on the number of people in the household. The percentage of Americans in middle class households fell from 61% in 1971 to 51% in 2023, per the study. This shift wasn't balanced. There was a slight increase in both lower income 27% to 30% and upper income 11% to 19% households. Robert Blaine, a 70-year-old Iowan, blames the decline of the American middle class on the shrinking manufacturing sector. Blaine said he believed losing a significant portion of manufactured jobs to overseas countries, particularly China, has made achieving a middle-class lifestyle increasingly difficult. There's merit to Blaine's concerns. Manufacturing historically provided a pathway to the middle class, especially for those without college degrees, according to Jeremy Nay's blog on American inequality. However, these jobs have shifted toward lower paying service industries with fewer benefits and weaker worker protections. Nay argues that the rise of China's manufacturing and exports hasn't been balanced by job growth in other sectors, leading to a net loss of opportunities for American workers. The decline of the American middle class isn't just about wages. Automation has also eliminated many jobs that once provided a secure path to the middle class, as Jeremy Nay points out. This is evident despite a seemingly positive rise in median income for middle-class households from $66,400 in 1970 to $106,100 in 2022. But the bigger picture shows a shrinking share of total U.S. household income held by the middle class. The income gap between classes has widened dramatically, and upper income households saw a much steeper increase in median income, 78% from 1970 to 2022, compared to lower income households, only a 55% increase. In the 1970s, the middle class held the majority of U.S. household incomes at 62%. Today, their share has shrunk to just 4%. Conversely, the upper class has significantly grown its wealth, increasing its share of income from 29% to 48%. Lower income households haven't seen a substantial change in their portion of the pie. See what I mean? People want to mow their lawns at close to dusk when people are getting ready to go to bed and make all this noise and be rude. And it's all kinds of annoying, and it's annoying as all get out. Right? So, amidst the noise, while I try to actually record my video, because these people are going to annoy the crap out of me. Here's the thing. I wrote a college paper that I cannot find now, a short paper for a class, that I can remember saying the American dream always came at the expense of some group. And when I say that, I don't mean just foundational Black Americans, because while other people lived in luxury, we did suffer. But in this country, throughout its history, known as the United States, somebody always suffered while others had this so-called dream. I want to discuss two things about this article. One of the things I'm going to discuss when it breaks down the loss in manufacturing, that's going to be one thing, because it was obvious to me that some of those statements don't take into account other things, you know. The second thing I want to talk about is policy. And I'm not going to talk about direct policies or name policies, okay? Of course, that's going to get loud, my bad. I expect these people to be nothing less than rude at an inconvenient time. So for the manufacturing, right? When people saw those jobs go away all these years ago, can I ask a question? Why didn't you all, knowing that you were making decent money at the time, siphon just a little bit away to go get another skill? because I think that would help you. Because this, I remember writing that paper about the American dream, and I can't find it now. And I've always said for a few to have that dream, a lot are gonna have to suffer. I didn't say it like that, but I said someone's always going to be excluded. In part because that's true. Groups protect their own, and if you're not in that group, then you're not gonna belong. Another partial reason that that is true is that people like to hold on to power. As sucky as that is, it just is that. You have to diversify or you're gonna go to the wayside. So, like I said, the article may mention something of the jobs going to China and all that. I'll get into that in just a minute. That's the second point. And the first one was saying about automation taking jobs and jobs going overseas. A lot of blue collar jobs that Americans look down on that immigrants will take are jobs that you didn't consider, like plumbing and electricians and carpenters and sewage and HVAC, that you can go get certs and things for, but lots of people don't want to do it because it doesn't fit their dream. No one dreams of dealing with rats in a sewer, let's just be honest. No one dreams of the fact that they could be electrocuted, let's be honest. No one dreams of climbing up light poles when you have to take kittens down, or to fix power when power outages are out and people are under roofs depending on you, and then sending messages and going off when their power's off. So I get it. There is always no glory in those jobs. However, AI can't replace those jobs. So either you're going to get the skills or get some technical AI automation, or you're just going to be left behind. The second one is policies, and this goes back into China, which India is becoming the new China, and so is Mexico, if you've been keeping up. The thing about America and its quote unquote free markets, which we can argue about that term because it's kind of convoluted. If you want to believe we actually have free markets, then corporations are free to put jobs in third world countries and pay them less, but still comparable to their environment sometimes, which I would argue it isn't, while taking jobs from you because you allowed yourself to get so comfortable you did not build skills. That's policies. That's NAFTA, right? That's other policies. That's trade agreements, things like that, that you need to go look up and study, because I'm not going to talk to you about it. I'm going to bring up one more point. You need to be careful about getting online complaining about your employer, regardless of how much you get paid. I get it. You're not getting paid enough. You're working 2 to 3 jobs, which I would argue, if you're under the age of 30 and unmarried, just get more than one job and give up vices. I mean, you're young. You got your life ahead of you. Okay? So that's obvious. Don't get online and be that person complaining about your employer or complaining about your job, especially when you're the person that know you contribute to your misfortune on your job and you choose to complain anyway. It's not a good look, because even if that company wronged you, what's going to happen is that you've put your face out there, you've put your name out there. Companies aren't going to want to take a chance with you. What I'm saying is, this so-called dream you believe in, that I always thought was just a dream and I myself don't believe in it, okay, may be unachievable because you're running your mouth too much. You're complaining too much about a situation that you yourself could be making bad, but you don't know that. And this is not to say that some of your complaints aren't valid. It's not to say that you're incorrect, okay? But someone could be looking at that video, and when they're ready to consider hiring you, they're like, this person's a liability. I'm just not going to deal with this. Keep those things in mind. I would encourage y'all to go and read this article and take what you take from it. Because clearly we all have known for a while that some of this stuff is generational. And we started to see this for a while. I can tell you from experience, and look, I'm talking about in general, not my current job or anything like that, so I don't want anybody coming for me. I've known for many years you can go bust your butt and work hard, and your hard work did nothing for you. This is why you can be on a job trying to achieve your so-called American dream, and a person that goof off and kisses butt and network all day can rise above you. And I'm going to give you not the best case scenario where this person was smart, articulate, knew how to network. I'm going to give the worst case scenario where they're professional BSers and they don't know what they're talking about, and they constantly want to take vacations, but because they are charismatic and good orators, they got over on you. Keeping your head low and working hard, because this is who I am now, doesn't always move the needle. Sometimes you're just going to have smart ways to invest. Find you a real financial investor. Not all these people on this internet talking about they know about markets. Go sit down with an actual person who does this for a living, who don't sit on this man's internet acting stupid. Okay? While I know for those of you who believe in this myth of the American dream, you think it sucks, and I understand that. Because I think it's a myth, okay? While you believe in that, understand that some of it could be you. And I know that's a harsh message, and that's not what people came to hear. But some of it is the company that you work for and their ridiculous policies, and how people sit in your face and they pretend to like you and we're a happy family, and then they move the jobs overseas. But it is still at the end of the day incumbent on you to make the moves that's gonna make you better and gonna get you propelled for this future. One or two things: you're going to outrun AI by taking something AI can't replace, or you're going to play the game and jump on the AI bandwagon. The American dream, I've never believed in it. But if you want it, best believe you better be ready to change.